Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for October 2nd, 2024. The Where is Modern Slavery Edition. Well, unfortunately, at a McDonald's in the United Kingdom, it was determined that a gang forced 16 victims to work at a factory or fast food restaurant, including a McDonald's. One of the indicia was that 6 members, or rather several victims, were forced to work at a McDonald's branch. And if you wonder where modern slavery occurs, this is a prime example. What are some of the red flags? Well, victims' wages paid into one bank account, victims unable to speak English, and job applications were completed by a gang member. Victims worked extreme hours at McDonald's, up to 70 to 100 hours a week, and multiple employees had the same registered address. Next up from Reuters, Western nations urge Kenya to seek IMF review of corruption issues. Corruption continues to be a major problem in Kenya, and many major shareholders are requesting an assessment of corruption and governance practices in the country. The EU is picking experts to steer AI compliance rules. On Monday, the European Commission will convene the first plenary session of working groups made up of external experts tasked with drafting AI's code of practice, which will spell out how companies can comply with a wide-ranging set of AI laws. So once again, the EU leads the Western world in a variety of issues. It started with GDPR and data privacy. Well, now it is AI. Will the United States ever catch up? Who knows? And our final story comes to us from the New York Times, which reports that the Federal Trade Commission has cleared the Chevron purchase of the energy company Hess. It said the chief executive, Hess, would not be allowed to join Chevron's board because of how he had communicated with leaders of OPEC. This is really one of the very first times I can recall the FTC getting into the adoption of a board member of an acquired company, and it could really present lots of new challenges for boards, certainly at this level. So we're going to see if the FTC does this and what the result might be. It's unclear if the executive will go to court to try to get on the board, but we will continue to watch it. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.